Hood Postman, City, Hood, Click, Raymond, Mac, Hell Hauncho, Tookie. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. Lock the door on him. Lock the door on him. Hood Postman. Hood Postman. Reporting live. Reporting live. This the Hood Postman, come and check the program. You ain't from the streets, this is something you should know, man. Running from police, gotta grip the wheel with both hands. Speeding down the interstate, please do not approach him. 40s in the fridge, got the caddy in the driveway. Get all out of my face, I don't wanna violate. Looked up in the mirror and I told myself, why wait? We took this shit worldwide, you only in 5 states. Came from the four corners with my 4 quarters. Showed them the style, then they stole on us. Times got wild, then they told on us. Dog, it was hard, but we had to keep it rolling. You ain't gotta ask, you know where to find me. I be in the back streets where it get grimy. It's just me and Mel, Rennie looking bride D. I be going hard till I'm in the 5 C's. Know the vibes. I'ma do it till I die. I ain't never switched sides, I ain't never had to tell a lie. Let's ride. Know the vibes. I'ma do it till I die. I ain't never switched sides, I ain't never told a lie. Let's ride. Hood Postman. 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 Hood Postman.
Shout out to the Mailroom Nation and the Mailroom Goons. I am Professor Melly Mail, the Hood Postman. Be sure to click the notification bell, guys. Take the opportunity right now and press them thumbs up. Click that notification bell. Be sure to drop a comment down below so when the content hit, it's going to feel like it's the 1st and the 15th. Quit playing. Y'all know what that feel like. I don't know why y'all keep playing with me on that. Y'all know what that. Just go ahead, press the thumbs up. Come into the room, press the thumbs up. This is not a glamorization or is a glorification. It's always education. You can go anywhere in the world to get a couple of lies, but you come right here to get the truth, and the truth you shall see. Before they had handguns, they had fair ones. Man up. Welcome to the mailroom where you can come in and take a look at your mind and examine what's in your heart. Shout out to Michelle. Shout out to the Postmaster General Marlena Williams. Shout out to them super duper moderators. Rodney Scott, what's good? Speaking of fundamentals with jamming Barry Carter, also Barry White. Yes, sir. What's going on? Man, what's going on, Black Warrior Spirit? What's going on? Western Ave, what's happening? What's hating? How you doing? Glad to see you here. It's been an amazing day. Divine Dub, what's good? What's good? What's good? Listen, guys, things are not getting worse. They're getting uncovered. We must press forward in our history and continue to pull back the veil. Unmask it. Let us all see what it was. Don't continue to hide it. Where's my manners? Let me get to the house cleaning. Let's do some house cleaning. We got some house cleaning to do, y'all, right? First of all, shout out to the Ayatollah for having the confidence and the wherewithal to say what he said on his channel in regards to the Hood Postman. He believed I have the stamina, the testicular fortitude, and the mental altitude to direct and use my voice to help the city. I appreciate that. Much love to you, Ayatollah. Most respect for the oldest Pyru. Yes, sir. So appreciate him on that, guys. You can go check him out on his channel, Ayatollah Marv, the man himself, the myth, the legend, Ayatollah Marv. Let's get to the house cleaning, guys. I waited a few days to address this issue because a few days back, a guy happened to mention my name amongst other guys. He threw Kev's Mac's names in there as well. And he mentions our name in a way that was not, I don't think he was accurate. And I'm going to say this. All of us are on the YouTube for likes, subscribe, and share. Every last one of them. Make no mistake about that. But what is the substance that you put it out? How do you feel about the people, and what leadership skills are you bringing to the table? That's where we got it. That's where we differ at. Now, as for me, I don't throw shade. I interview individuals, and those individuals have the right, and they have the intelligence, and they have the background and the history to say what they say from their section of the city. I don't influence in no type of way, but I will encourage them not to curse so much, because cursing hurts the algorithms, and they get into all these different stuff, and it kind of die down and tone down the real true message. So we don't want to do that. So what was said that I throw shade, or I'm on here for like, subscribe, and share, that's true. I don't throw shade, and I don't do violence. I don't do violence. I just don't. But always remember, folks, that I've been in this a little over a couple of years. Kev Mack has been in it for many years. He started with the KMV magazine, All Hood magazine, and moved on. He's been doing this thing for quite some time. So we've seen a lot. We've been through a lot, and we understand this. I learned from him, and he showed me the path, right? Okay, then I took it and put my own spin on it, and put my own taste of what my channel was about and what I like to see on it. And I do history, politics, religion, man and woman. In everyday activity, I try to give something to those spaces, because I think it's critical that we get into those spaces to understand where we're going, because it's not the question that you guys don't have education. Some people, a percentage of people don't have education because you believe what you believe, right? But you don't question what you believe. And that's where inherently, that's where the problem lies. So your subconscious mind, and well, I'm gonna get into that. Let me get into a little more the guy on the channel. So when he start pointing one finger, right? Anytime you do that, anytime you use your channel to point one finger, know this, that there's three more pointing back at you. I'm not here to embarrass anybody or say anything, but when you interview people, right? I have a team. Shout out to Marlena Williams, manager. Phenomenal with what she do and how she keep me going and encourage me and give me the necessity tools to work through these situations, because there's times when I'm hitting lows and she come on and just with her bubbly self and raise me up, and I'm back. There's time when I need encouragement. There's time when people need to say things, and not only her. I bring Mike Marks. I'll talk to Mike at time to time. I talk to the ball game. I talk to Rennie. I talk to Bright Up. But Marlena is the most important part of this channel. And E-Money as well. E-Money. But I know you guys don't know E-Money. Come on, here's time is Monster. E-Monster. But anyway, so when people say things, there's a lot of things out there in people's background that you don't necessarily know about and may be unaware, because what we apply over here is journalistic techniques. You have to have some sense of navigation and understand what journalism is really about. Uncovering stories, doing the research, using fact check data, statement of facts. There's all such kind of ways to arrive at understanding what's truth and what's false, what's fake, and all that. So what happens, sometimes people interview people and they don't truly understand the individual that they're interviewing. And I have made that mistake. Don't get me wrong. I made that mistake. But I understood where everybody was coming from when they said what they said. But anyway, I'm not going, without further ado, I'm not going to carry on to that situation, because I'm sure that brother, shout out to him, by the way. I thought, and I left a comment on his channel, told him he was doing an amazing job. I thought his channel was incredible. I didn't put him down. I didn't kick him. I don't kick people when they're down, but at the same time, brother, understand that you're in the internet. The streets died once everybody got it. So don't think you can put the streets over to what we now know. We got countless of people right now. Black people, we're taking over the internet. We're taking over. We're doing everything. We're in the sports. We in the entertainment. We in the music. We in the just podcast. We in the societal issues, and we're addressing the fashion, we're addressing the hip hop, we're addressing the misnomers in our culture. We're addressing so many things on so many levels. This internet is really springboard us into the atmosphere. It's got us going universal with it. All black people, what I'm saying. And I'm not leaving anybody else, but what I'm telling you, what we're doing with it. So your subconscious mind has access to limited information, unlimited information, right? Yet the quality of information that you give you depends on how you direct it. It's how you direct it. It just must. It's just that most people unconsciously directed to produce weak results. And what I mean by that, for example, they'll say something like, "I don't know." So the subconscious mind will show them more evidence of, "I don't know. I'm not knowing." So the subconscious mind will show them, and they'll say, "Knowing, I know not," or "I'm not knowing out." All this kind of stuff. In other words, they'll go to the negative instead of going to the positive. So the subconscious mind will show them why it won't work, because they'll say, "It won't work. It won't work." Yes, shout out to the Stanley, man. Appreciate you. It will work, but you have to believe in what you're doing and believe in the process, and the process of work. Be mindful to the way you influence your mind. Be mindful to that, because there's other individuals that's trying to get in your headspace, trying to rid out rooms in your head. But be mindful of that. Be mindful that you have the right to go study, do an independent study and research to understand exactly where you are at. Instead of I don't know. Instead of that, come up with the solution instead of saying, "I don't know, I can't figure it out, it won't work." Come up with solutions, because solutions are out. Many solutions are out there, just like many problems. So there's nothing that can't be solved. Mathematics solve everything. There's a mathematical equation and to every problem. Trust me, mathematics, everything around you. Sorry, guys. I really don't like when people call me when I'm on this internet. They don't be knowing. They don't mean no harm, And instead of that, find the solutions and work it out. Say, guide me to the best result. Guide me to the best understanding in a scenario, and take time to direct your mind, because we are miraculous people and beings. Know that we're not hampered, and no longer can they hold us down, because we can go get any information we now want. We just got to get up off the bench. We can't just be riding the pine as they use in baseball. You got to get off the bench and go do the work. Simple as that. So let's get to it. We're here talking about Raymond Washington. We're talking about Stanley Tookie Williams. We're talking about Matt Thomas, and we're talking about Head Hauncho. One thing that the Crips had that other anti-Crip gangs didn't have, the Crips had directives. They had individuals that was like leading the way, that helped put this thing in. And 1968 was one of the biggest years we had, because there was the Black Panther Party, there was the Slossons, there was the businessmen, the gladiators, and all these different people interacting around it. And by this time, the Black Panthers start recruiting from these other subsets, even the avenues. They start recruiting from all these different subsets. So you got to think that at this early age that Raymond was like observing all this. But prior to all that, the gladiators, the Slossons, and the businessmen, they was at odds with people who we now know was the spook hunters. And this is moving because 68 was a big year when the Black Panthers was pumping that fist with the Tams on, the Naturals, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. Martin Luther King had just been assassinated, and with his, God rest his soul, and everything in his commitment. Malcolm X had been assassinated. Everything that he brought to the table was we had a well prepared table in activism and strength, and knowing that the black family unit was the power structure to the Black Power movement. The black family. Broaden your horizons. You're right. So in 1969, when Raymond came of age, or right age to where he could actually participate, because you got to remember, Raymond saw these things where in 66, the riots of 65, he saw the spook hunters that was running over the Alameda tracks and coming to the Los Angeles area. Because remember, the Alameda tracks divided us from the white people. If you crossed them Alameda tracks back in the early 50s and 60s, you were in a world of trouble in regards to racism and how these, like Linwood, Huntington Park, Southgate, Downey, and all these different areas, that even Compton, that east side of Compton, there were no, in the early 60s, there was rarely you found any black people on that side of town. My family, we moved on our house in Springs 1968. And when we got there, we were like the third black family there. So you see how the demographics of things that change and evolve. But coming back to Raymond. So Raymond wanted to be a part of this. So he formed what we know as the Crips. And he had people like Big Chest Larry, Victim Adams, Bulldog, and Craddock, and others as well. Part of his assessment, a part of his group. Then you had Mac Thomas, who was on the other east side. They had Mad Dog, David Clark, Moto, Johnny Ray. He had let's see, Nose, and other individuals that were on that side, but both east side Crips, right? And then Mac Thomas took it even a further step. He moved in Compton and bought the Crip in the Compton, which we all know that the first Cripping started in Carver Park because of the Share Capri, and everybody, Cookie even had an apartment over in the Share Capri at that time. So that made sense for everybody to be centralized up in those apartments, because that's what it is. But we got to get out of that mindset, because now you got people who claim these hoods, but the housing authorities own your neighborhood. Don't mind me just watching. The housing authorities own your neighborhood. You don't own property, or you don't no longer own those properties, or you just over there is written. You just temporary there. So a lot of these neighborhoods that was birthed in apartment buildings no longer exist. They only last for so long. But coming back to Raymond. So, and then when you get to Tookie, I'm gonna bounce to Tookie for a moment. Buddha, Sweetback, Melvin Hardy, Bogart, Warlock. Did I say Buddha, Sweetback, Tookie, Bogart, Warlock, Melvin Hardy, just to name a few from that side, from the west side, right? Just think about it. You got Mac Thomas over in Compton. You got Tookie way on the west side. You got Raymond in the middle on the east side. All these individuals able to manage the group of core individuals and bring them together and base them on under the banner of Cuz. Cuz gave them their kingmanship. Cuz gave them their lineage. Cuz gave them the word to where they can all link, and the blue rag solidified it. I don't know if we can say that on the other side, because there were Pyrus, there was Brims, there was bounty hunters, there was swans, there was outlaws. They didn't have, and I'm not saying they didn't have strong individuals like Ray Boys. They had Puddin' and Tam them from LB them from the park, right? Not from the park, but from Westside Pyru. And then you had Herman Jr. and Big Jeffrey and Icky Dawson, those guys from the park, right? Ray Johnson. So what I'm saying though, all Crips knew that everything evolved from Raymond, everything evolved from Tookie, and everything evolved from. I even placed Mac Thomas over Tookie, because I think Mac Thomas was actually Cripping before Tookie, because Tookie then was Cafe Boys first, and then they were and then Barefoot Pookie name was Shag Boy, so they was having that over there before. But Mac Thomas was already under the east side with Raymond and Mad Dog Clark and Big Mad Dog and Bulldog and Mad Bull and Isaacs and countless of others, you know. And these guys had formulated a unit. They was moving like a paramilitary. You understand? And don't get it twisted. They were being led, but at the same time, and this quote unquote quote head honcho Raymond wanted to actually put one of our guys in a political position so we can have a seat at the table, unquote. Head honcho told me that. It's not nothing I'm making up. I got that from Hauncho. Why I got it from Hauncho? Because he was right there. And you guys know that Head Hauncho, that's why I include him in this scenario, because Head Hauncho was very particular about history, and he liked to keep the facts and keep the history intact. And he explained it to me. He ran it down. And although I was younger, but yet when he started talking, it triggers my mind to understand what was happening. During that time, they had something was because the Crips, they had labeled Raymond Washington public enemy, right? This is what they did through the Los Angeles Times and the Herald Examiner at that time. And they brought him up and they made him public enemy because of his stewardship, his leadership, and how he gathered all these individuals, and they was placed in all these big parks. Big Mitch, what's happening? They was in these park gatherings. I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of guys. You see hundreds of guys who look like Panthers because they had the black waistline leather jackets. They had the Levi's. They look like Panthers, but they wasn't Panthers because the Panthers had one element that they didn't have. And that element is that these Panthers was educated. They had lawyers. They had people that was in there that was giving them propagandists. They putting the propaganda together in order to be against the government. They was anti-government. Crips and Bloods didn't have that. Well, there weren't no Bloods at the time. They were just anti-Crip gangs. There was no such thing as Bloods. Bloods came around about 75 when they used the term blood to unify all these guys. So while these guys was going through, but what happened, they start bullying people. And the bullying started even making people be Crips, or they was running away from them. And those guys that ran away from them decided to form their own circumstances and situations. And they put together what you see was Brims. The Brims was already out, but now the Brims, you got the Brims, the Pyrus, the Outlaws, the Bounty Hunters, the Swans, and the Chain Gang. Okay, can't leave those guys out. All these guys were anti-Crips. So the way they bonded was through the word blood. They used the word blood. When you think of the terminology of Crip, you would think it's not a gang. You would think it wouldn't have a be output to be a part of it. Yeah, I agree with that. So when they was putting these things together, right, Raymond actually wanted somebody to have a seat at the political table, because during this time you had Mayor Tom Bradley, you had Rosie Greer, you had Bob Simmons, who formed the round table, right? But all the time they felt like they was having a discussion. They was going to provide jobs, cedar jobs at YHWL or CAC. A lot of Crips work for that, right? And so they did get the jobs. But at the same time, it was an intelligence gathering campaign. It was intelligence gathering. And this when they begin to gather intelligence on these young, youthful men that was roaming through the city, terrorizing. We all saw what happened at the Palladium. We saw what happened at the Wash Stacks in 1972, when that went like real haywire. That went haywire for real. Wash Stacks, 1972. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. It was at the Coliseum. So it was an intelligence gathering campaign, because these people have political standing, and they want to be able to make sure things, the numbers and everything reflect in a good way to where they can continue to get elected, even if it means sacrificing part of their people to the circumstances, right? So with Tom Bradley was a little bit smarter than probably all of them, because he was very college educated, and he had become mayor, first black mayor of Los Angeles, I believe. And he didn't want anything to train wreck that or ruin that. So, but now years later, they knew that they might have could have came out, had better outcomes had they left Raymond in place, had they left Tookie in place, had they left Mac Thomas in place. Because think about it, Mac Thomas got killed in 1978. Raymond got killed in 79. Tookie basically lost his life in 79. So, and there was other Crips that had power, because you got to think about, you had Frog, you had PP, and all them that was over there off of 102nd, but they was all part of the Wash House Boys and the Figueroa Crips. But also Mac Thomas led that situation over from 103rd, and then later on he moved over to the street over in Raymond Street in the Farms, yeah, over in the Farms, where they purchased like a horse ranch, and he started riding horses. You know, I heard the stories about him being on horses and cripping and stuff. But anyway, and then then that was Head Hauncho. Head Hauncho was a student of all this, because he was right there, and he take it all. He had Raymond. Head Hauncho had Raymond. He had Mac, and he had Tookie. Even when Raymond, and they were all in the Grannies, and the Grannies was a apartment unit that was like went into a cul-de-sac that was in a circle. If you went down, there was only one way in and one way out, and they would close the Grannies up, and it would be like just one big old party, and all the Crips from the LA, all the Crips from Watts, all the Crips from Compton were coming in to have these big, huge parties, just a bunch of cripping going on everywhere. And what happened when the anti-Crip gangs would come up to the outskirts over there by where the airport at, and they would pop down there on them. They wouldn't go down there. They would stay out the outskirts and pop down there. So what the Grannies did, they did put up these barriers to where when you came in the Grannies, you had to blink your light. And one night Raymond came there, and they and I think he wasn't aware of it, But anyway, when they told him about it, and he told them, hey man, y'all don't change nothing because of me. Continue to use that, because if you come down here and you can't identify yourself, then that's that's all bad right there. So yeah, so everybody that came to Grannies would have to blink their lights 3 times to get in the Grannies. That was Tookie, Raymond, no matter who they were. So I had always called Bob Simmons, like, to me, he was the Crip whisperer, because I would see him from time to time saying things to Tookie. He didn't say nothing directly to me. I seen him say things directly to other people, because I was a young guy. What did I matter? I'm a baby Crip. I'm just around hanging out, trying to take in some of this stuff and see what my position is, and see how I need to play it, and see how I fit into this overall equation. So there was a lot of people like myself, our minds were hungry, and we were like feeding for this stuff, because it was new. Wear your waistline leather jacket, your Levi's, your Ace Deuce, your earring, because when you went home, you had to tuck all that. That blue rag, you wasn't walking up in your mother's father's house with no blue rag hanging out your pocket. You took that hat, tucked it. You took, you pulled the pants. The pants wasn't hanging like that at that time. The pants was already up. So, yeah. And you might have convinced your mom and dad to go downtown LA off of 6th in Maine to buy you one of them waistline leather jackets. They had them black, brown. Some of them was two-tone. They were some of the best leather jackets. I still ain't seen no leather jackets that matched those from back in the day. They were just real sharp. You can get a nice deal on it. Back then, I think a leather coat would cost about $50 or $60. Even it might even been cheaper than that. It was like real reasonable, but they was real stylish. And everybody was wearing the knits. Right now, I got a picture, guys. I haven't shown the picture yet. On that picture, it's Icky Dawson, Jeffrey Petrie, 2 more guys, Curtis, and I forget the other guy's name. But anyway, on the picture, it's 2 Crips and 2 Pyrus. I'm still perplexed by that picture. I've been following this picture, studying it, trying to see what was the angle of this picture. And now I got to go into do the research and do statements of facts and get the individual to help me understand why this picture was taken and why these guys standing on this picture and they all relaxed like they chilling. Now, when you see the picture, Icky is wearing a waistline leather jacket, right? With the belt around it, right? The other guy got like a quarterly there, but he got a big old fedora, like 71, 72 style, definitely. When you see them type of hats that Tookie and Buddha them was wearing out there at Factor Brookings, right? When you see these hats, you like, wow, you know that's early 70s stuff, right? And the other guy was wearing a knit. The knit was like the sweater with the leather in it and had the big lapels and stuff. Once that happened, the Crips started splitting off into subsects, like the movie, the coming and jump. Yeah, Timo. Right, right. Well, so yeah, so my thing about all that, right? They was from the whole time from the early 70s to from the round table meetings all the way up to the 78, 79, there was stuff that happened to individuals sometimes was questionable. How did that happen? Who did it? You know, Mac Thomas lost his life. The guy that was with Mac Thomas, was 4 guys with Mac Thomas. One guy did the shooting, 2 guys got shot. The one guy, I can't mention his name, but he got shot. The bullet went through him and hit Mac, and Mac died, but the other guy, he survived. I've talked to him personally. He told me the same thing. He told me about how they was hustling Mercedes Benz and Porsches back then, and Mac had started evolving. And then at that time, you got to remember the water game that came around. The water game. So King Ning and Red Dog and all them, they was, you know, they had started being, King Ning had learned the recipe. King Ning was from the Grandies. So King Ning had actually started hanging out over my neighborhood where I grew up at. And then my homie Duck and Robert Thomas and all them, excuse me, they started getting involved in the water game. So at this time, the water game was 100% profit because you got the chemicals you put together. It was, you know, you put the process, you manufacture it, you did the sales in, you had to sell, you everything was right there. There was nothing that you had to go get and pay a price. And it was like a lot of these guys in the 80s was balling on consignment. No, those guys that had the water had real money because everything that they did with their own 2 hands and their mind. But the cocaine thing, people was balling on consignment. A lot of people made money. They made lots of money, but it was all, you know, and I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just telling you what the reality of it is that a lot of guys was balling on consignment. So when all that started happening, so you get all these different people that is invested in this money and in this gang life, people are now seeing that, okay, man, do I still want to be a Crip? Or do I want to be involved in the money game? So the money game is very luring. It can attract you in so many different ways because we all need money. We all need money to pay mortgages, rents, pay bills, take care of your family. Yeah, that's water, bro. Could burn your house down. Yeah. No, if you for real, Stan, if you didn't know what you were doing and putting them what the process was and putting all those chemicals, putting all the B and E's and the bromo bunzees and the red devil lye and I'm just giving y'all a couple of chemicals. But anyway, I ain't gonna get a full breakdown of that stuff. No. You won't get me that way. But anyway, so if you knew all that, how all that process went, and when you knew how to get the distilled water, cool it down, and all that, and get those buckets and those sticks and put that stuff together, there was few individuals that just was a beast on that, a beast, and they put out some good product, and it sold really well in places like DC, Baltimore, Texas, and other states. It sold really good. But anyway, that's another story. So when you start seeing other individuals that were branching out and doing things, so here come the splinters. One of the first splinters that we saw was always, guys, know this, all the splinters and all the interaction, all the falling out, when we lost Raymond, it was behind a woman. It was behind a woman. When you lost a lot of these guys, a crazy Crip, when you lost Chocolate, behind women. Most of them was behind women. And I'm not saying that the women, you know, you got this guy that like this woman, and some of these guys was from the same neighborhood. You know, it's not a mystery that a lot of people know what happened to Raymond. They just don't talk about it. I heard the names countless of times. I know the names. I know who the individuals were and all that. I'm not gonna say it on the internet because it's why should I be the one to let the cat out the bag? You know, that's up to somebody that's doing an investigation that go down that rabbit hole that understand that stuff, that's following that history. But I don't think they want to solve it no way because they looked at Raymond in such a poor way. I'm talking about law enforcement. But now they realize that maybe if they left him in place, he would have kept a handle on things, and the leadership would have been a little more. It would have been a little more studied. The whole Crip movement would have been a little more studied because it really got out of hand. And when the spinners came, the first I think it happened in '79 to the '60s and the 8 trays behind a woman. A lot of stuff that happened to the Hoovers behind women. A lot of stuff that happened over in Compton behind women. What happened to Ray Johnson, Paru #1 from Looters, behind women. You understand? So we got to look at these things for rightfully for what they are. So when you giving these histories, right, and then when you start going down the timelines, if you looking at research data, and you looking at old news articles, one thing about Kev Mac, right? I'm gonna say this too. Kev Mac and S Mac, man, they some of the best at finding these old articles and getting all this stuff together. Not a baddie, yeah, baddie. Getting and compiling this information. And sometimes when they put that information out, it's not widely known. And the gays that specifically that is talking about get mad because they've been living a lie the whole time. So when they hear the truth, a lie has speed, but the truth has endurance. So when they hear the truth, it's hard for them to accept it because they've been hearing this lie for so long. And then sometimes when you get into microfiche and you get into police records and you get into old newspaper clippings, and they give it a whole different version of what transpired, what happened to the certain individuals. People not ready to accept that because they've been believing what they believe in, and now here's that, right? And Kev and they just doing the work. They're not doing nothing to harm nobody or disrespect nobody because they're following the history. The history is about doing research. It's about compiling data. It's about putting together the facts and putting the facts a statement and putting them out there for people to decide if they like it or dislike it. You know, you got the opportunity to press thumbs up right now, but a lot of you will be in here sitting and watching and won't do nothing. But you'll sit and listen to you'll listen to my whole monologue, but you won't act, you won't interact, you won't say hello, you won't press a thumb because in the actuality, if I'm saying that, other words, you'll have something in your mind, but don't realize that what's in your mind don't exist nowhere else because you don't go research, you don't do no facts, you don't read, you don't fully understand how this mechanism and how this life is working. You just believe in this whatever little information you have in your head based on your gang banging history. And whatever that is very limited. Shout out to the ball game. Shout out to it's very limited. It ain't the fact that you don't know how to think. It ain't even the fact you don't understand. The problem is you don't know what thinking is because most of you emotionalize thinking. And when something becomes emotionalized, it becomes very reactionary. So that's why you see that, man, a lot of you guys, man, let's be honest, man. A lot of you guys, mothers, you're here because your mother borrowed $40 from your daddy. I'm going to say that again. Your mother borrowed $40 from your mother needed $40. Your daddy gave it to her. Boom. And the next thing you know, you was born. That's That's where we at, folks. I'm not saying that to make you feel bad or make you feel shame, but I'm just telling you that's where it's at. Your mama needed $40. All these single women. And I'm not saying that all women, I'm not saying, listen, I'm not woman bashing. I'm not woman bashing. But what I'm saying as a culture, as a whole, men don't make mistakes. Women we don't make mistakes. Yeah, $40, Marlena. They mama needed $40, and then next thing you know, they was here. The dad gone. She there to raise the man child, and then she start calling the man of the house and all that, and don't know nothing about being a man. Absolutely nothing. So some of the disciplines that came from Matt Thomas, that came from Head Hauncho, came from Tookie, and came from Raymond were lost in Kiwiism. Were lost. And they was lost because those guys were removed from the equations. What does that mean? Smiling face. Fuck the space blue. Yeah, I'm not saying everything is 100% Black Warrior Spirit. It's not. There's always some, there's always gonna be somebody just that supersedes or rise. There's been plenty of people, and let me reiterate on that. Nothing is ever 100%. But what I'm saying that the multitude or the high percentage of young guys, Rolo got those boys hurting. No, they got themselves hurting. When I was younger, right? I had a homeboy, and I really can't give you anything more than what I'm giving you on this. He came by my house, and he told me that, Mel, I got something. I got cool. Where we come on, let's roll. So I looked out, and I saw this person, right? And I thought to myself, no, it ain't cool right now for me, bro. I got to, I'm helping my mom do something, and I stayed home. It was days later that they found a body, and I remember seeing. I didn't have nothing, you know what I mean. But thank God that I had the spirit to know that the situation wasn't going to be a good situation, you know. And I was too young to really know the impact and what was about to transpire in this whole situation, but something in my spirit, self-accusing spirit. We all had that self-accusing spirit where something tell us something ain't right, and we don't move. We stay still. We get quiet. In retrospect, I had to reflect back on that moment and know that I was spared that situation because that guy is still in prison right today. I know if things had been different, he would change that circumstance. This is like if a miracle happened, if you fell asleep and a miracle happened, when you woke up, what changed and why? You would ask yourself that. What would you change and why? And I'm sure his would be that change that circumstance. And that's it, man. And again, I'm not here to make anybody feel bad. I'm not. I'm just looking at even when we look at the black church, how they have hidden things and how they covered things up and how they, you know, just tell you to pray about it. It's gonna be all right. No, it's not. It's not. Because we're gonna still know that whatever the circumstance, whether it was a weird uncle, whether it's a weird cousin or a deacon or a pastor that's doing some strange stuff from the pulpit, we're gonna ignore it because we believe in Jesus. You can always go back and watch it. Shout out to Big L Dog. Shout out to Big L though. So what I'm telling you guys, it's important that we check and we recheck and be sure of what we put in our hands, because the life we have, we fashion it with our own two hands. I want for my brother what I want for myself. Stan's my brother. Stan knows how, he knows me. He calls me. We talk all the time. Stan the man. Shout out to Stan the man. He's a very good man. A very good man. And he understands this philosophical side because he's never been a gang member, but he's been around them. So when you can talk to somebody like Stan, you can see clearly what's wrong with everything in that regard. Just sitting and listening to Stan. Although at times it was necessary, you know, but at other times it wasn't. It was too over the top. It was too vicious and too violent, too extreme. Ball game, same thing. I call it a ball game. We'll talk, we'll talk, we'll talk. We always talking. You know, he lost a nephew in Las Vegas. We talked about it. You know, I lost my nephew to fentanyl. Gangster lost his son to fentanyl. But it's because we trust too easy, especially the streets. There's a pharmaceutical fentanyl and there's street fentanyl. This is where we at today. See how things have advanced. We no longer, no longer the waist line leather jackets, no longer the big fedoras or the ace deuces and the blue rag in the pocket. You don't even see that today. Now you see is draws, pants hanging off and draws and skinny jeans and 20 chains on the neck. You don't know which one is which. But when you know it, is you see it. You see Percocet, you see Vicodins, you see Narcos, you see oxycodone, you see syrup, you see powder, you see PCP, you see weed, and you see liquor. Just looking at them, you see all that. Just look at them. So how can you reach those individuals? And a backpack. Like I say, a lot of them was born because their mama needed $40. And their daddy gave it to her. That's how we got there. That's how we got there. And then when you see individuals that come on that try to assassinate, or because he want his channel to bubble or get up or whatever, he think that the way to do it is Charleston White or the Whack 100 way. No, that's not it. Those individuals they different, bro. They different. The backpack with a gat, they different. Is all I can say. But at what's the cost? What's the cost of individuals talking? Charleston White, he tried to go viral today and fake like he got hit upside his head with a gun. That's the desperation in it now. We don't see him did that a couple of times when he was down there in Chicago with DJU. He faked like it went all off and all that, you know. We don't know. We don't know what's real, what's not. But till they come up to, I can do some research, till I can do statement of facts, till I compile some data. That I don't know. I'm willing to do it. I don't know about you guys. I'm willing to do it. So when guys come on the internet and you checking Megan's law, I check Megan's law all the time on different people. But some of them people were on there just because they was pissing in public or something stupid, you know. I look at it. I look at different case law, Nexus Lexus. I go in there and look at old cases and stuff. You guys heard old man when I was interviewing old man from Carver. He told you where I was at. I was in the law library. I told him I'll get a gym membership when I get out of jail. Right now, I got to chase down this law, the seconds and thirds, federal seconds and thirds, American jurisprudence, Black's dictionary. I got to shepherdize these cases so he can find a case that fit me to help me get out of prison. That's what I was at. One day in prison is too long for me. I don't know about anybody else. Maybe some people like being there. Well, I've heard that too. Some people are more, they function better in prison. They don't know how to function outside of prison wall, and they'd rather be there. Because remember, the guy that sent me the video, I don't know if you guys remember that. The guy that sent me the video, he said, man, I got to tell you something. And I'm thinking, like, what do you got to tell me? So he said, man, I'm just going to send you the video. He sent me the video, and he telling me all this time he been going to prison because he like men. And he's more comfortable there being with men, you know, and he enjoys men, but, you know, and there's some people that, you know, when you see them, you know, people get on, you know, doing certain things, have certain behaviors. You like, okay, wow, what's going on here? I said, Mo, on my way to the jail. I said, you outside though, Black Warrior Spirit. You outside. It's okay to go to the jail now. You know, I didn't even ask you guys, how's the sound sounding since I changed it up? Is it better? Is the sound much better? So YouTube just started a thing where you can be a partner. They start a new type of partnership where you can endorse product and stuff. I signed up for it to see what happens. If somebody want to bring their product to the platform, and then I'll speak about it or whatever. And in return, I'll make money through Google. Baby boy, everyone hit that like, but see, and that's right, baby boy. You'd be surprised at how many people won't hit the like button. Hit the thumbs down, then I don't care. If it's a thumbs down, hit that. Yeah, that's a sickness, bro. You know, it's you know, but we know they mentally disturbed. You know, when you spend all that time in prison, you know, and you know, there's people right now, right, guys. Right now, I know exactly who they are, walking around in plain sight, right, hugged up with women, and the rumors, I would just call them rumors, is like not just coming from one or two, three people. It's coming from multitude of people. What their behavior was behind that wall, and now they acting like they normal. Now I guess they back outside, and everything go back to, I guess, the way they don't want to be with a man no more. You know, is that bad that we speak on that? Is that bad, or do we supposed to continue to cover that up? What do we do with that? Seriously, guys, what do we do with that? Do we continue to pretend like these individuals weren't that, or do we put it on the table and chop it up, kitchen table conversation, to fully understand the whys? You know, because you know I understand a cage is not my habitat, nor is it my home. I was created to be in an open environment. Even if the God paints my cage with solid gold, I would never accept the existence of being in the cage. And that's how we all should be. You know, it's a should be exposed, Professor. Yeah, women should want to know, but they don't know, because some women are so desperate for having somebody, they willing to overlook certain things about certain individuals. And y'all, you guys are, not that you'll be surprised, but I know a lot that I don't even talk about. Yeah, Gangster had a great video on transgender today. Shout out to my homie Gangster. You know, and that's where that. I'm gonna have to start doing my lives a little early. I think it gets a better. I don't know. I think because when I start looking at the not the algorithm, the data, the analytics, it showed really when you go out about 6 or 7 o'clock, sometime the traffic slows down as for my channel. But if I do things like between 12 and 5, it's better. I don't know. I gotta just, rethink that whole situation, I believe. But not necessarily being 12, maybe more or less, probably 5, 5:30, a little earlier. The earlier the better. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, ball game. But anyway, you guys got any more questions for me in regards to the Raymond, Tookie, Mac Thomas, Head Hauncho? Any more questions in regard to them, man? I'm just telling you, those guys, man, those guys is huge. And, Head Honcho had Catnip and Lil Ronnie and, Marcellus is over there. You had, uh, Red Dog, King Neem, Salty Frosty, Big Rebo. You had all those people over there. Everybody know Big Rebo was a character, a real character. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Hope you guys appreciated this hour monologue. And Robert Sugar Bear still around. I only know Henry Wiles, the Sugar Bear. I don't know what Sugar Bear you talking about. You know what? I think Raymond was more closer to the Pyrus than most people realize. And him and Mac Thomas really had a falling out behind that. Raymond didn't have no problem with it because the Pyrus wasn't over there where he was at, and then his relationship with King Baba Louie, you know. So I think he really wanted them to be part of whatever their movement was. It just didn't work out that way. Yeah, they got the blue rag from Buddha. That's what's known. I don't know it to be a statement of facts, but that's what everybody leaned towards, that the blue rag came from Buddha. But I'll tell you this, the word cuz came from Texas. Because when you moved out here from Texas, say if I moved out here from Dallas and somebody moved out here from Marshall and we linked up in California, we called each other cuz. I saw that all my life. All my life. We lived on Avalon in the 60s when the Watts Riot. The Watts Riot happened on 113th, I believe, in Avalon. That's where it occurred at. And I don't know why they called it the Watts Riot, because I think Avalon at 113th ain't necessarily Watts. But anyway, we stayed on Avalon too, but towards the 135th at that time. We stayed on 135th in Avalon, and a lot of stuff that was going through and how it was transpired. I was looking as a kid. I'm looking out my window, I saw when the National Guards came in with the jeeps and the trucks and the machine guns and all on this stuff, trying to get law and order. I saw all that as a kid. Rusty Smurf. You know what? Health wise, he's good. I talked to his son, but I got to reach out to him and see, can I talk to him a little more. But as of now, I'm gonna say he's doing good. He's doing good. Hauncho is like one of my favorites as far as his depth, his intellect, and the information, and how he easily just go through it and give you everything you need to know in regards to the questions you ask him. He'll just give you an in-depth answer. He won't just give you a yay or nay or just a couple of words. He'll go in depth on the answer. And interviewing somebody like Head Honcho, man, it's hard to get people to interview like he do. It's hard. You get people that I interview sometime. I gotta pull stuff from them, and then there's people like, you know, old man. He'll just start talking. Bright Dog, he'll just start talking. Willie Herb, he'll start talking. You know, but then there's others that don't. You know, they be saying they want to do an interview, but at the same time, once that camera come on, or or sometimes, you know, I'll be having video set up with people, right? And then they'll talk to somebody, and then they'll convince them not to do it because of I don't know. It's like a lot of them are empathetic, right? Empathetic in the sense that they have these great lives now. Now they done went through everything. They don't want anything to be a disruption to that or anything to impact that life. Not that, because here's the thing, right? If you haven't, you never talk about a murder. Everybody knows that. That goes most of these, all that stuff that happened in the 70s and 80s and 90s and early 2000s, statute of limitations that ran out on them. There's nothing nobody can do with. Now, if you got homeboys that's overcritical, because the streets belong to everybody, ain't made for the streets. That's why they created the sidewalk, right? That's what us Southerners do. It's family. Yeah. Yeah, it's family. That's what it is. That's what it is, bro. Appreciate that. Let's see what we got. Where did the 3-point crown come from? It didn't come from the Crips, that's for sure. It did not come from the Crips. Willie was a great interview. You're right. Now, I'm not under the weather. Sometimes when you talk for an hour like that straight, you need water. Because your mouth get dry. But no, I'm not under the weather, bro. I'm healthy, man. I'm healthy as a bull. That's the thing about it too. I guess I'm rather fortunate because I'm not on any medication. I use eye drops for my eyes, right? But as far as taking pills and you know to try to keep me going or whatever, I don't have to do that. I'm not on no what is that, high blood pressure medicine or sugar diabetes medicine, none of that. Yeah, thank you, Keith. So I'm pretty much good in that department, I believe. Then I go to the doctor, you know, I got that Blue Shield, Blue Cross, which is a little bit better than Kaiser. Kaiser is like, that's a butcher shop over there. They just try to charge your insurance for anything and everything, not necessarily that you need it. They're just, hey, you need this test, you need that test and that test. Blah, blah, blah. Man, you guys are wasting my time. If nothing's wrong, you know, just give me the regular physical. What's my diet? My diet is water. I don't drink no sodas. I don't drink no alcohol. During the week when I'm on the truck, I eat fruit. I eat apples. I eat bananas, and for my snack, I eat skinny popcorn. Let me see. Hold on, just a second. Right, these are great for snacks right here. Skinny pop is like 80 calories. It's just one little bag. You know, you they come in like 10 bags. That's my little snack right there. But when I'm on the truck, I don't eat no meat. I don't eat no meat. When I go home now, I'm gonna give me some fishes and some chicken. Because you know, sometimes you get the feeling like a lack of protein. So I haven't figured that part out. I think I would like to be just all the way no meat, because I think meat make us sluggish. Have anybody ever noticed that? Meat make us sluggish. Am I the only one that noticed that? You seen people eat them big old juicy steaks? I don't eat. Now, every now and then, I will eat some tri-tip. I love tri-tip. Cream of wheat. Oh, cream of wheat. You know, but for the most part, when I'm on this truck, I don't eat no meat. And I'll be 65, guys, in a couple of months. I'll be 65. So God's been good to me. Oh, corn, beans, and squash give you your full amino acids. Okay, cool. Thank you for that information. Especially red meat. Cream of wheat with the waffle is the business. Ball game says, right on, ball game. I mean, I used to see when I was in the feds, guys used to put that peanut butter. They make the oatmeal and drop a big old clump of oatmeal, peanut butter in it. A lot of guys ate like that, or a lot of like. I ate, when I was in the feds, I ate a lot of tuna, a lot of tuna. You do CDL OG. I'm currently going for mine. Yeah, I've been driving trucks. I had the ability to drive a truck since 1998. Like when I was out there in the life, right in the streets, I kind of knew that I wasn't gonna be able to do that too long, and for the rest of my life. So I went and got a trucker's license. So a lot of times when all my homies was out slanging, I'd be out driving a truck, and then I'd slang later on or something, you know. But yeah, I was working both sides of the fence because I knew that that stuff wasn't gonna last. I knew it was gonna come to a head. Oh, the peanut butter is the protein. Okay, got it. So there's still, in regards to food, there's still like, I used to make this concoction, right? I used to take the ginger root and the turmeric root, apple cider vinegar, some lemon, and some alkaline water, and put that through like a juicer. And man, that stuff used to hit different, boy. I need to get back there to that because do need to lose some weight. I need to drop some pounds. It's hard there in Mississippi. Yeah, I understand because y'all eat a certain way in Mississippi, man. Y'all be, man. That's how we got Mississippi Marys, M&M's, right? Yeah, that's pretty much what it is too, James. That eating the meat once a meat, I think that's, I think that's good enough. Now, I tell you what I do like, guys. That seafood dressing. If you ever had it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like coming up shortly, seafood dressing. Oh man, you put the crawfish, the shrimp, the cream of shrimp. You put the onions, the celery, and all that stuff, just like you do a regular dressing and all that. And but you put that crab meat, and you put the crab meat, the crawfish, and the shrimp, and the cream of shrimp. Once you get that up there and bake it, oh man, the best. I know Marlena don't eat seafood. Yeah, see, you don't eat seafood either. Yeah. Health is wealth, number one. Yeah, you can put oysters in there as well. You can put oysters. Seafood nasty. No meat. Marlena don't eat no meat either, guys. Sweet potatoes is a good, man. I love sweet potatoes. I love the The red ones and the white ones. They're pretty tasty. I just bake them and just eat them. You know, sourdough bread stops sugar and entering your blood. Okay. I think where Raymond grew up, where man, it was a necessity because and I forgot to say this. I think the buffing side where everybody started doing weights, all that came from Craig Munson, and because at the time Craig is probably about 74, 75. So all those guys would have been younger than Craig, and they saw what Craig did, and everybody wanted to be big like Craig Munson. That's where the Tookie, Raymond, Big David Clark, Mad Dog, Bulldog, everybody wanted that. And that was just the thing for them to do back then was, be able to squabble and get buff, get huge, get on swole. A baked sweet potato came. Yeah, you're right. I love it, man. Raw and steamed vegetables, cool. Yeah, so I think that potatoes are amazing. I keep three 10-pound bags of them. Yeah, I think some of this, we can get into some dialogue. Sometimes we don't have to digest all this stuff that comes street TV. Why does everyone want to Craig Munson older than 72, right on, right on. Okay. 72. He's 72 right there. Okay. So that make him born what in 50 or 51? 50? I think, yeah. I think that's where all the buffing came from was Craig. December 1950. There it is there. So he has a birthday coming up. He'll be 73. Yeah, I think everybody got the buff in game. I don't care if it's Tookie, Raymond, Big David Clark, Mad Dog, Bulldog, Mac Thomas, Hauncho, everybody got that from Craig. I would say Craig is the one that pretty much. If you go back and see some of the old clippings of Craig when he was at Venice Beach and how big and swole and how dedicated he was to pumping iron and buck winning Mr. Universe and all that stuff. He was a huge guy. I did time with Craig. I did time with him. We was at Wayside Minimum. Remember the little? I think that's when they used to have the different colors. I think orange was the south yard, the grays was the north. We were in the light greens, so that was minimum. And I forgot the dark blue probably was max and super max or something like that. But depending on your jumpsuit is where you went for Wayside back then, and we were all at Wayside Minimum. Only in America where they advertise all the junk food and medical commercials behind. Listen, guys, I don't know about you guys, but in the 70s and part of the 80s, I never saw urgent care. I don't think there was no urgent cares. I don't think there was the dialysis places. We didn't see that. All that stuff started happening as the diet worsened and people start eating like fast food, like really like 24/7 because everybody was out in the streets and it was easier to grab some fast food than it was to go home and cook a meal or go home to a home cooked meal. I believe that, remember because they used to have this place, what was it called? Church's Chicken. They had a wing that was bigger than a whole regular chicken. I was always suspicious of that. I'm like, why is this chicken so big? Why these, the thigh and the wing, just huge pieces of chicken? Moderation is key. They don't have these steroids. So if they don't have these steroids, then that steroids is going into you. How is that impacting? See, that's another thing. We don't, when we go to the doctor, we don't question the medicine. How does it handle? How does it interact with my enzymes? How does it affect my pH? How does this medicine? What is this medicine? What is the micropharmacology of this medicine? What is the breakdown of it? We just take the medicine and leave there and think we already got a cure or something. But a lot of times medicine make it worse. We just have to slow down and pay attention to everything around us, what they're doing. Yeah. Oh, they're doing some stuff. Trust me. Even Jamel was a huge guy too. What would Raymond feel or think about this new generation? I don't know what he would feel or think, but I know he wouldn't recognize it. I know that much. He wouldn't recognize it in the sense of what he created. Like I told you, here at Hauncho, quote, Raymond wanted somebody to run for political office, so we have this. Because always know this, guys. Your local elections are the ones that's important because it give you the opportunity to control the resources. You get to name who's going to be the mayor, who's going to be the city manager, and also who's going to be the police chief. But if we don't get in and vote and we don't put the right people in, and then we get this trash or people that don't care or people that's only there for to do backdoor deals with their friends and give them money and they give them a check on the backside, then that's what we keep getting. We keep getting all these bad people in there. But the local politics, we need to get in control of that. I think we need to come together, no matter where we at. If we're in Compton, or we in Los Angeles, we in Watts, I think we all need to get together and do something about that. Because if we control the local politics, we can control what happened to us. Just think if every black person had $1 million insurance on them. Right? You think the police would still be killing us? I think not. If we took out $1 million insurance policies on every black person, I think the police departments wouldn't kill us. Because the insurance part, think about it, insurance companies run this country. Insurance companies run this country. They run the banks. Because when you go in the bank, what it says, federally insured. I mean, if it's insured by the insurance company, the bank is the bank, but it's insured by. So does the insurance company have more power? Yeah, it do. Local politics. But anyway, guys, I got to get up out of here. I got some stuff I got to do. I got to get up and get going around about 2 o'clock, maybe even sooner than that. So I appreciate you guys. Be sure to hit the notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment down below. Because when the dope content hit, it'll feel like it's the 1st and the 15th. Once again, welcome to the mailroom where you come in, take a look at your mind, and examine what's in your heart. It's what's in your heart. It's not the size of the man or the big or smaller man, but it's always the heart, fellas. It's always the heart, the commitment. Okay? So be good, be safe. Most of all, be well. I am Professor Melly Mail, the Hood Postman. Shout out to the Postmaster General Marlene. We appreciate you. We definitely appreciate you. And let me hit you with this. Hit them.
Perfect grind all the time, baby.
Yeah. Cali Finest, baby. Perfect grind all the time. Music money. Got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the fans get me. It's guap off top, diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a broke bitch the time of day. They see me climbing, they see me shining. That's hard work, proof of grinding. New money got me tipping in that 550. I leave bad man and I'm so pretty. I got that tech with me, that's my hater sprayer. Go big, grind now, nigga, play later. What can I say? I'm addicted to this paper stacking, and I don't talk about it, I just make it happen. Word on the block is that the shit go. Freaks for the low.
Shout out to the Mailroom Nation, the Mailroom Goons. Professor Melly Mail, Go ahead and lock the door, Marlena, because we are gone.